going on, everybody? It's Obi Wan Kenobi pre-show time, part 3 of the Obi Wan Kenobi limited series is just under half an hour away, and I'm pretty geared up for this one. I was geared up before, but I'm really geared up as of now. Joining me, just like he did on Thursday, Friday morning, whatever day it was. It's my good buddy and co-host of the Fandom Empire show, Johnny. What's going on, man?
Yeah, why can I not hear myself? This is unusual.
But I can.
Yeah, I'm tired. It's 2:30 in the morning. I didn't take a nap between Fandom and now, so I'm.
Tried to, didn't happen for me. I think it would have. I could have, but we ended the show and the little guy was freaking out, and that lasted for about an hour. And at that point, I pretty much knew I was doomed.
Yeah, I don't. It's gonna be an interesting night.
Long morning. It's gonna be a long morning. All right, so episode 3. I mean, this isn't really a spoiler if you're watching the end of the last episode. The big man, possibly the ultimate movie villain of all time, Darth Vader, makes his return to Star Wars. And not just in like a Rogue One type way or an animated type way. Because remember, Rogue One, he's in it for the blink of an eye, basically. You know, I think his screen time is less than 60 seconds. And if it's not, it's damn close to it. We haven't seen Darth Vader prominently in a Star Wars project since 1983. 1983. Darth Vader meaning
live action, specified.
The suit. Obviously, he becomes Darth Vader prior to the suit in Revenge of the Sith. But I'm talking the iconic suit. I'm excited, man. I feel like I told you after we got off air last week, doing 3 episodes in a short span, that like the kid in me was back. I was so just fucking stoked to watch this, and like almost Christmas morning type excitement in my stomach. And I have it right now too, even though I'm freaking exhausted. Where are you at with that? Is your excitement level still there?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it just because of the
Darth Vader bit too.
You know, the quality of the first 2 episodes allows my hype level to stay very strong. You know, because they delivered. You know, like that's the worst thing for any TV series is, to get excited and get hyped, and then you actually start watching it, and it's like, oh, this is not good. I mean, we do it. We all do it every year. You see a trailer for a new TV series debuting in the fall, and you're like, man, this looks really good, and then you sit down and actually watch it and go, oh, no, this is awful. But this is, it's lived up to the hype so far. I mean, we're only 2 episodes in, so obviously, it's hard to say that. But I mean, really, when you break that down, that's a quarter of the series already. Like it's not, this isn't a 20-episode season where 2 episodes in, you're just sort of getting your toe dipped in the water and, just starting to get a feel for things. This is 1/4 of the entire series, 25% already done. And
33.
That what?
It's only 6 episodes.
Apparently, I forgot how to do math.
I thought maybe.
No, that was just legitimately forgot how to do basic math there.
It was 8 episodes, which would have been nice, but
no, my brain knew there were 6, but my math, I'll blame it on the 2:30 in the morning problem and say like, yeah, just didn't compute that basic math. But 33% of this, that's even higher, so it makes the math more, bigger. So we're 1/3 of the way through this, not a quarter. So, we're 1/3 of the way through this now, and it's been good. You worry when you see, someone cast as a younger version of a character. Are they going to live up to that performance? And obviously, Leia has lived up to that performance and then some. Like it which I find comical. That's slightly off topic, but it's so comical that 24 hours after Kathleen Kennedy says, "Yeah, we can't recast iconic characters with younger versions of themselves. The fans are not going to like it.
I mean,
Just do it right."
To be clear, we've known Leia was going to be in the show for a very long time. And so, like, when that article came out a couple weeks ago, it just like again, the whole PR thing. I'm not trying to be negative, but it's like, what? You know? Man.
But I mean, that's the thing. You have to be able to relate to the characters to see them. And I mean, let's be honest. When we see her walking around as Princess Leia, you can see Carrie Fisher. You can imagine her growing up to be
Foreman too.
Exactly. But I mean, you can see her, as that character. Whereas, let's be honest, Alden Ehrenreich, he ain't no Harrison Ford.
He's not, but I honestly thought he was fine as Solo.
He was fine. But that's just it. He was fine.
On going forward. If they wanted to tell stories after Return of the Jedi, which clearly they are, but at that time we didn't know how they would be, and I would have been fine with it. But you're right, he's not Harrison Ford. There's no doubt.
But he doesn't evoke Harrison either. Like he was different. Like it wasn't a bad performance or anything. It wasn't. I can't watch Solo and be like, yeah, that's Harrison Ford. He just doesn't.
I can't say that, but I can watch Solo and go, that's Han Solo still. Maybe not, in his prime years where Harrison has the Harrison swagger, the Han swagger. But yeah. Anyways, we're way off. Darth Vader, man, prominently not seen in a live action movie or show of any sort since 1983. When I say that, he's hardly in Rogue One, and he's in the suit hardly in Revenge of the Sith. We're about to get a big dose of him tonight. Where's your excitement level, and is it going to be at all jarring to you if it's not James Earl Jones? For me personally, I'm okay if it's not. The guy's 91 years old. Whether they use the same tech they used for Mark Hamill, or if it's just the guy that they have who voices Vader Immortal, which I've never played, but I've seen clips of. He's very, very good.
Yeah, I've never experienced Vader Immortal. So, I mean, to me, it's hard to say how jarring it'll be until you actually hear the voice. Like that's the the barometer for a voice actor, a voice acted role is, do they sound right? And I haven't experienced anyone that's not James Earl Jones do it. I mean, will it sound different? Absolutely, because whether it's James or somebody else, it's going to sound different. I mean, let's be honest, the James Earl Jones voice from Rebels didn't really sound like the Vader voice we were used to from, A New Hope and Empire. So, it's
often Rogue One too, but then again, the man deserves to be able to hang them up.
No, absolutely. There's no question about it. He's lived a very long, productive life, and if he wants to keep doing it and can, great. If he wants to say, all right, that's enough time for me to hang up I don't know what an appropriate comparison for Darth Vader would be, because he can't really say boots, so hang up the chest plate. Perfectly deserved and acceptable, but I mean, it's hard to say because I mean it's 2022. Obviously, we filmed this, not in 2022, 2020, 2021. So, the world learned a lot about voice acting from home in those years. So, if he wanted to, it might even be better because he could have done it from inside his own home without, having to trek to a studio or travel to do it. So that might make a difference. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And if it's James, great. If it's not, as long as they don't take me out of it.
If it's James and it's declined even more since Rogue One and since Rebels, that alone might take me out of it a little bit. I think you need to be able to move on. If you want to do more with Vader, you have to. The man's in his 90s. That said, if they're able to do what they did with the Luke Skywalker voice, which was all done through a computer this time in Book of Boba, I don't think you've seen it yet.
No.
But it's really good, and it's a little easier to mock a modulated voice like Vader's or a Kylo Ren or even a Boba Fett, it still might end up being James just run through the computer.
Yeah.
So,
we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, we're,
I suspect James will get credit for it regardless.
Unless it is full on someone else doing it, then I don't think you really can credit. I mean, you could of course credit both, but yeah, he wouldn't be the sole credit.
No,
the voice of Darth Vader, but
no.
I would not be surprised if we see his name in the credits, regardless of whether or not he is the voice we hear.
For sure. Okay, well, we're 15 minutes away from this thing dropping. Realistically, it could drop anytime in the next 10 minutes. When it does drop, do me a favor, let me know the runtime. As much as I love this thing so far, the 42 minutes in episode 2 seemed like a bit of a cop-out, I gotta say, especially on the same day when you advertised it as a 6 1-hour parts.
Yeah, that's a weird look. I mean, I guess, if it sort of works out to that, at the end of the day, then, it's a 6-hour miniseries, and that's fine. But you could have, said that instead of saying, 6 1-hour parts, which obviously it's not. But, if the backup, we talked about it on the show earlier, those times could balance out where, the last 2 episodes are, an hour and 10 minutes, an hour and 15 minutes. But then those times will, balance out more so that you do reach that 6-hour benchmark, which is what we kind of expected going into this.
I hope for tonight's episode, knowing what I know, that if it's not at 50 minutes or higher, that it's very close to 50 minutes, like 48, 49. Because once you do credits and the intro, 48 and 49 becomes 41 or 42 really quickly. So I'm hoping this one is up in the 50s, but we'll see. The last one was 42, and an actual episode time was more like 34, which I think
the recap, the intro, and then the credits, yeah, it's definitely shorter than I would like. I mean, if we don't get into the 50s, I'd like the high 40s at the very least.
Yeah,
42 was not enough. There were definitely moments in that episode where you could have stretched it out a bit longer and had a bit more meat.
Yeah, it felt like the first episode was slow and methodical. Obviously, lots of exposition to set everything up. But I thought they still could have continued that piece of storytelling in episode 2, maybe quicken it up a bit. But it felt like we went from that into an episode of The Mandalorian. Not that that's a bad thing. Love The Mandalorian. But it was noticeable, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, the content, you'd think that if there's going to be a shorter episode, it's the one that's more walk and talk than the one that's, full of action, which comparatively the first episode was all walk and talk. And then the second episode, you got, a good dose of action. So I'd hope those would be longer than, the exposition, because it doesn't require quite as much time to have a conversation than it does to, do some of these action set pieces. So we'll just have to, I guess, keep track of the time as we go forward, because obviously, the action's going to keep picking up and intensifying as we move further and further in the series.
I mean, just with them leaving Bayou, we know there will be new characters entering the story in this episode. And
logically, yeah.
I believe this, I don't see why it wouldn't be this episode. We already seen glimpses of it in the trailer. I believe this is where we get to see what poor Anakin, well, I shouldn't say poor Anakin Skywalker, because at the end of the day, even though he was seduced and misled and was trying to do the right thing for his family, he made horrific choices that are unforgivable. You're about to see the consequences of those choices whenever he doesn't want to be in the tank and everything he has to go through just to be able to function. And in 1977, even 1983, you just thought, hey, dude in a suit, robotic arms and legs, but that's it,
I don't know. Did we even know that at that point?
We knew the arms were, because he gets the arm cut off and it's all wiring and everything.
Yeah.
And Kenobi says he's more machine than man.
Fair enough. I guess we never knew quite how true that statement was until, the later years. But it's going to be interesting. Anakin Skywalker is clearly the, prime example of the path to hell is paved with good intentions. Because, I mean, everything he did, with the exception of slaughtering the younglings, was done with, what he thought was the right, the right intentions and the right path. And he thought he was doing the right thing. And that killing the younglings is really the only thing I can point to and say, who did that benefit, even in your deluded and delusional mind?
It's going to be interesting here because I believe, I don't have concrete proof of this, but when you look at the leaks and you look at the interviews that have been done with the cast, specifically Hayden Christensen and Deborah Chow, even a little bit of Ewan McGregor, I think everybody, you're going to see some like classic fans just wanting Vader to be like how he is in the original trilogy. And I'm telling you, I'm betting money that is not who he's going to be in the series. We've already had it hinted at us in Return of the Jedi when he tells Luke, Obi-Wan once thought as you do in terms of turning him back. I think we're going to see a very conflicted Vader at times. I think he's going to go into it not thinking he's going to be conflicted, and he's set, and then, you can talk a big game, but once you encounter, that re-encounter, that life-changing moment, it's going to be huge. It's going to be big.
I mean, we sort of saw that a bit, in Rebels when Ahsoka faces him down for the first time. You could see sort of that. I don't want to say pierce through, but you could see some of Anakin in that moment where, this is.
He basically has to make a decision if he's going to kill her or not. You can literally see Vader, even though he's in animation, deciding if he has to kill her, and he ultimately decides he does, and she would have died if it wasn't for Ezra.
It's going to be interesting to see where this is, because as close as he was to Snips, that relationship with Obi-Wan is so different. I mean, Ahsoka is more like a. I mean, it's. I guess they are comparable. When you sit down and think about it, because Obi-Wan is like an older brother and Ahsoka is like a younger sister, but it just they'd been through so much more. Like their life experiences were so much more that, their relationship is just so more grandiose that, seeing them come face to face for the first time, since such a huge moment like the Battle of Mustafar, that it's going to take a lot out of both of them, and I'm excited to see that.
It's funny that you bring up Mustafar. Were you able to prepare some questions at all?
No.
Alrighty. Well, that's probably okay because
48 minutes.
It's 48 minutes?
48 minutes.
It's already up, huh?
It is indeed.
All right. Well, we'll go through a couple of quick predictions and start it early then. Yes or no? Obi-Wan will ignite his lightsaber in this episode.
Oh, no.
No. Okay. Yes or no? We will see Anakin Skywalker in some sort of flashback, not in the Vader suit. In this
yes.
episode. Sorry, new footage flashback, not just hey, there's the Revenge of the Sith clip.
Ooh, I'm still gonna say yes.
Interesting indeed. Well, that's all I have because I don't have my phone out here with me. It's charging so that I can. I do that. It's so freaking late. I don't want to wake up the family, but I still want to have it loud. I do this thing where you play the music or the sound from your TV into your headphones, and so yeah. Anyways, it's here. Obi Wan Kenobi Part 3. We're going to go check it out. Prediction. Last one. Even though you haven't seen it, is there any way this episode tops the first two?
No, absolutely. I mean, it's always possible.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Smash that like button, click subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you all around 4 a.m. And most of you guys will be watching after the fact. I noticed like 3 times of our views came after the live stream ended the last time. So still, smash that like button. It helps. It helps. See you on the flip side. The Force be with you.